Prem Kumar sir.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, sir, Anil Kumar sir and Prem Kumar sir. My name is Alisha and I work with CIC. I think we will start the webinar now. Are you ready, sir? Anil Kumar sir.
Yeah. Good evening. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm great.
Okay. Okay, sir. So we will start the webinar. So a very small introduction and a very warm welcome to everyone, to all the participants and the panelists. So before we start, a very brief introduction about the speakers for today. Mr. Anil Kumar sir and Prem Kumar sir will be talking on the topic energy conservation and management. So about Anil Kumar sir, he has around 26 years of experience in R&D, quality control and assurance, technology services, business development, sales and marketing in Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, in automobile OEM of Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, and also in a reputed oil manufacturing company called Chemoliums. And he is currently with PCRA, that is Petroleum Conservation Research Association, as an empanel speaker. And about Prem Kumar sir, who has around 39 years of experience in electrical projects, maintenance. energy management, safety management, and management certification auditing. And he's also a certified energy auditor. A very warm welcome, sir. We are honored to have you as speakers for today. Yeah. And also, before we start, a very brief introduction about CIIC. So, the Crescent Innovation and Incubation Council is a business incubator based out of Crescent University, Chennai. So, currently, we have around 65 startups incubated with us. And our major thrust areas include life sciences and Industry 4.0. So, what we exactly do here is we provide the three M's, that is, money. We identify the different grants provided by the government and private investors and provide and facilitate them to the startups. And two is mentors. We provide mentorships. We have different connects with different mentors. Whichever startups require mentors in different fields, we provide them to the startups. And the market, we identify the different markets in which the startup's product will be viable in which particular market. So we identify the different markets and provide the markets to them. So yeah, that is about CIC, and we are also the fourth best bio incubator in India. So that's about CIIC. So before we start, to the attendees, to the participants, if you want to have a one-on-one session with the speakers, we will take the questions towards the end of the session. And please do click on the raise hand option so that you can talk and ask questions directly to the speakers. Thank you, sir. The floor is all yours. You can start the webinar, sir. Thank you.
I'll just share the presentation. So just guide me whether it is visible, audible, everything.
Yeah, okay, sure, sir, sure.
Yeah, is it visible? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is visible, it is visible.
So it is in slide mode, right?
It's not in slideshow, sir.
It is not in slideshow. Okay.
Yes. Can you click on the slideshow icon, sir? So that...
Yeah, slide can, but why it's not going? 1 second. How about
Hello?
yeah, 1 second. Yeah, is it in slide mode?
No, sir. It's still in the... yeah, now it's in slideshow.
Problem.
Yeah. Now it's correct, sir. It's in slideshow.
Now it's correct? Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon to all, one and all actually present for this program. And in fact, I'm very for this program, just sharing my thoughts regarding something on energy conservation actually. As a institute or as a university, I'm sure you guys are doing a lot of innovations, incubations, and there is one of quality oriented approach and religious approach actually. So because this is the need of the day actually, be more self-reliant actually under the now Prime Minister's mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat actually. Definitely and whenever we need to innovate actually, before that we need to understand the concept. So in our domain, where energy, and I don't think you guys also can exclude this domain because you're all from mechanical engineering, wherever, whether they belong to engineering stream or they don't belong to engineering stream. I don't think anybody can think of usage of energy, because energy in some way or other, in some form or another form, is internally linked to our lifestyle and in personal capacity and in professional lives also. Nobody can think of anything doing any activity without usage of the energy, because I can tell you, energy is the engine to the economy. Simple. That is my punchline. Actually, always I used to say. So let us have some conversation. Why should we talk on this energy conservation? Energy conservation is nothing but saving energy. Why should we save energy? First of all, where and all we should, and what are the advantages of saving the energy, and what are the opportunities available for saving the energy? In case if you don't save the energy, what's going, things we will discuss in the course of the presentation. So we need to have conversation, this kind of conversation regularly, because I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm saying you must agree with me, because energy is the most expensive commodity in today's scenario, where we are almost importing 90% of petroleum products from outside the country. So you about this energy, so why it is more important to our lives actually. So let us go through the presentation, how it's going to be taking. So energy conservation, if you ask me, of course there are two questions on the screen. Actually, I'm asking you, is it a technical topic, or is or something related to attributes, or something, some kind of a common sense kind of a attribute, or it is, it is both actually. Because energy conservation, just like that, by understanding the concept, or by, you cannot just implement it, because it's a technical subject, and one must have the overall understanding, and not only knowledge and experience. It is such a intensive topic actually. At the same time, whether you have knowledge or not, first of all, let us understand, we are not here, let it be water, let it be any food material, or let it be energy, anything. So fundamentally what we need to have is, we should any resource to go as a waste actually, and we are not here. We are here only to use it and to save it, so that the reserved and preserved in the ecosystem for tomorrow's needs for all of us. So if you ask me, yes, it is both. It's a behavioral, because both the integration of both the aspects only will give the full-fledged implementation of the. So with this, I don't think energy efficiency is an issue, because energy efficiency is the next level of the energy conservation actually. So I'm sure you all energy efficiency, because I'll not go detail into that. Energy efficient is nothing but the most cost effective way of the doing the activity with the available, and at the same time the output is more, at the same time the waste is less, at the same time consumption is and without impacting the process or activity or whatever it is, when whether it connects to manufacturing or when it connects to anything else. Moving the energy efficiency, you all must be knowing, every day the petrol and diesel prices will change in the midnight. Why it is changing? Because government of India is trying to cushion out all the changes that is trying to come in the international scenario, because the crude 90% of crude petroleum is coming from outside the country. So as and when they change the prices, and we are being a, have no choice to change the price according to manage the changes in an international scenario. And what is the next factor which in energy security? How many of you are sure that tomorrow energy is there in your area, wherever now you are attending this program from various parts? I am doing this program from Ananagar. I do not know whether I may have energy or electricity in Ananagar for doing the same program for SRM or VAT or somebody else. Am I sure? Am I sure the security? Am I sure that energy is going to be available? I do not know, but definitely, if that is not the major encumbrance for implementation of the energy efficiency. At the same time, the third factor that is influencing the energy efficiency is the climate change. Today, I am burning the petroleum products. It may be coal or coal or petrol, diesel or whatever it is. As on account of the burning, I am getting pollution is there, emissions are there. What is the impact of these things on the environment? The temperature is going up. Global warming is taking. Global warming is going to take place beyond an average scale of 2-degree temperature in a year. What is going to happen in the Arctic and Antarctic? So all the ice gets melted, and because of that, all the low-lying areas will get flooded. That is nothing but the Paris Agreement. That is the reason across the globe have agreed to reduce the temperature at least by 1.5 to 2 degrees is nothing but the Paris Agreement, which is impacting the climate significantly. At the same time, energy efficiency, if you implement, it leads to the generation of the jobs in terms of engineers, in terms of so many other jobs actually. So having done all these things, still there on 100% implementation in energy conservation, the main three factors are lack of knowledge or concern at the end consumer level. I am the energy end consumer. That means take the case of my home. In my home, what and all I am using? Number of home appliances I am using actually. Conditioners, water heaters, then washing machines, refrigerator, and all those things. So first of all, you are also your home. You are also using the energy in multiple manners, lighting, air conditioning, and all these things. So first of all, we should not waste the energy wherever. Actually, in case if you don't know how to switch it off, go to your seniors, go to your parents, or go to somebody else. At least bring the information to them. Let us not assume it is not my job, it is not mine. I have power and position. I can afford to waste it. Actually, everybody should act responsibly. Everybody should act sensibly so that this most important, precious is saved. At the same time, everybody should know how to use the resource efficiently. Let us take small statistics of this country. The population of the country, India. India is having almost 132 crore citizens of are there actually, which is contributing to 8. That means something close to 20%. Our population is there in the global population. But what is our energy consumption? Is it at par with the population? Is only 6% only. Why it is so low? Because we are in the first phase of the energy diagram actually. What is this first page? I will presentation actually. See, if you look at the energy, if you look at the our consumption, which is 6%, not at all average energy consumption of the world. Why I am saying this statement? It should be somewhere close to 10 to 12%. That means if is going up to 12%, that means by the time we have the most advanced systems with high energy efficiency in practice is available in our country. That means at the same time, I am saying just like that, don't increase the energy efficiency and conservation in practice. We should increase the consumption for the purpose of industrial activity, for increasing the manufacturing activity. For that purpose only, I am telling you to increase, not just for the purpose of increasing, it cannot be increased. At the same time, that I am contributing as far as emissions are concerned. This is also 6%. Emissions, anyway, negative aspect of the entire system. So emissions have to be less, and 6%, in my opinion, is it okay? But at the same time, we should do our every effort to reduce or to bring down these emissions at least to 3 to 4%. At the same time, India today, the largest producer of renewables. Just look at this. This is a carbon dioxide diagram. In the last 12 years, it is an increasing side. It is coming down. It is increasing. It is coming down like a ECG. It is like this. In the last year, you see, 2019. Now again, it has come down. This is a blessing in disguise. Because of the pandemic situation, the COVID has attacked all of us. In the month of March, after the month of March 2020. All the industrial activity, all the manufacturing process have been halted because of the lockdown or whatever it is. Since there is no industrial activity, there is no pollution, or there is no emission. For that, we cannot clap for this because the industrial activity leads to GDP, increase of the GDP. When we increase our GDP, means our country is in a positive direction with respect to growth and other things. Now, economy is back, the recovery is happening, and not worried about the emissions and pollution because the pollution is now going up. Let us see what and all we have to go through. This is the dioxide emission diagram of the 2008 year for all the 192 countries, 196 countries in the globe actually. Just look at this, India, we are in the red zone. Whenever India means any country which is in red zone means the carbon dioxide danger zone. That means the air available in that country is not at all palatable for the consumption actually. There are some countries in green, and light green, dark green, yellow, all these countries are eco-compliant. That means their carbon dioxide emissions are very, very less. So the more palatable and you can inhale it without any problem. But the countries wherever the dark colors are there, like red, things not at all good actually. This is the a simple pictorial diagram of the carbon dioxide emissions. This is the tweet given sometime back, almost 2 months back. What he says is, as a part of the providing the energy justice to the citizens, because it is an integrated to pass through the 4 stages of the energy diagram, which I am mentioning in my previous slide actually. What are the 4 steps? Energy access. That means we should have access. Having access, now we should have a system to use the energy efficiently. Next step is energy sustainability. That should be sustainable and not only to the process, to the people, to everybody in the ecosystem. If it is not sustainable, then the last step is the energy security. That means even today, I should be confident of having the energy for tomorrow because government declares some scheduled or unscheduled shutdown in Anna Nagar or somewhere, then I may not be able to run this program. I may not be able to mobile for doing this program. So today we are in the first step of the energy diagram. The government of India has declared to the World Bank that entire India has been electrified, entire India has been given access to the electricity in the year of 2018. That means the remotest corner of the country, any village you go also, today by virtue of all the advanced systems, we have the energy. Having should be able to use the energy efficiently, thereafter sustainability, and thereafter security. So these are the advantages because it gives the economic, social, and environmental. Because whenever you do the energy conservation or energy efficiency, it gives you number of advantages in terms of savings, like financial. You are not wasting it, so that you are not paying that money to the electricity board. Like for example, today your electricity bill about 1,000 or 2,000 rupees, and you take some measures of energy conservation, the bill is coming down to 1,500. 500 is the state saving. So it is a that it will also keep the energy in the grid itself because your reduction of the consumption is there, and not only that the emission will be less, and not only that it is going to create a lot of the jobs, and other than that it is also economic stimulus. There are other advantages are also there. And whenever you are implementing the energy efficiency, we need to advantage of the digital innovation. This is a classic example. This webinar is also happening in a webinar mode, in the sense virtual mode. For doing a physical program, I'm just leveraging on the digital innovation, just sitting in front of my laptop in my home. I'm doing this program. You're also at advantages of the digital innovation must be factored as and when you implement the energy conservation. For that, public sector should lead by to engage everybody. That is what I am doing it, because giving this program, awareness program, to all the people who are there in our society, or an employee or anybody, whoever is connected with the energy, we need to engage. And wherever you have to do the or energy conservation practices, watch out for the best practices that are followed in international scenario, because national local practice at the same time we have the best practices followed in international scenario. Advantage of those practices have to be implemented here energy efficiency. At the same time, keep continuously rising the energy efficient standards actually. So this is the Prime Minister of our country, Sri Narendra Modi, during India Energy Forum that has happened exactly 2 days back. What there are 7 commandments what he told, and today we are going to slowly move away from the solid and liquid petroleum products to the gas petroleum products. That means gas based economy. That means we are slowly going to go away from using the coal, petrol, diesel, from natural gas. So our entire manufacturing activity, our entire economic activities will be gas based. And wherever you have to compulsorily, which are nothing but fuels derived from the crude petroleum products, at least use the cleaner products actually. So that is the second point. Today we are having the highest population, or maybe the second largest population in the country, in the world, being uh, we have the high potential of generating the waste from which the biofuels can be derived. That means largest country in the world to generate the waste and from which biofuels can be derived. At the same time, today's our somewhere close to 100 or 150, and by another 10 years it is almost going to be triple actually 450. At the same time, generation of electricity by burning the coal or petroleum products sometimes leads to, not sometimes, that means the carbon forming deposits are released into the environment. So what I have to do today is I am generating petroleum products. At the same time, I have to take care so that the decarbonization happens very quickly. That means electricity either by non-renewable mode or by a renewable mode for the application of the. Take an example of the electric vehicles. Today, electrical vehicles, how much popular they are in our country, everybody knows it. There are battery problems, there are the recharging problems, so many things. So today, pure battery vehicles are not there, and there are hybrid vehicles, diesel, at the same time battery is also there. As long as you have those two fuels, you can run it on the fuels. If it is not there, you can switch over to the. At the same time, we have to generate the electricity today through renewable modes, so that the atmosphere, the decarbonization happens. At the same time, whatever you generate electricity to renewable mode can be utilized as a standby energy resource for the mobility application. And we have to move to the emerging fuels like hydrogen, because hydrogen also one of the best fuel in another 10 to 15 years. In today, Delhi transport system, CNG, that means gas, has been enriched, has been spiked with hydrogen, somewhere close to the percentage of 15%, and they are doing trials. Diesel, they are using hydrogen enriched CNG as a fuel, as a notified fuel in buses, so that if that is trials, they will switch over. And other than that, as I told you, digital innovation, everybody has to take an advantage. So some questions, whenever you do implementation this energy conservation, are we managing energy both at home and workplace? Why new generation are having energy conservation mode today? Even if you forget to switch off the appliances, automatically go into energy conservation mode. For example, air conditioner, you set the temperature and you put it into energy conservation mode. Automatically, when the room is shut off, the energy is saved. So this is nothing but the energy conservation mode. Like that, how many of you know LED bulbs are working? are costly and they're expensive, but at the same time, when you are comparing with the performance of incandescent bulbs, CFL bulbs, normal lights, LED lights, will give the lifetime at least 5 times. So that LED bulbs are really energy efficient. Number of questions we have to ask ourselves as and when go and join the industry, like energy efficient motor, transformers, and what are the options available towards, then what and all, so on. So this is the LED bulbs, the story in the country. Look at this. For the last 10 years, incandescent bulbs, actually lamps, are coming down. That means usage of the incandescent lamps and the CFL bulbs are coming down. Tube lights are almost coming down. At the same time, look at these LED bulbs. They are going because realizing the importance of the usage of the LED bulb so that energy is saved. Just look at that, our neighboring state, Andhra Pradesh, across every state, the bulb tube lights have been converted as the LED bulbs actually. So these are the major achievements, friends. Last around 75 crore people have gained access to the electricity, and government is ensuring today the reliability of the electricity supply. At the also started increasing the usage of the kerosene and the natural gas in cooking applications by remotest part of the country. Earlier in villages, they used to burn the biomass for the cooking application. Today, everything has been converted. And other than that, off-grid electrification solution, renewable wind, and so much of energy is being generated through the no. So this is an example of the overview of the India's energy system by fuel and sector. Just take an example of the this one where the cursor is there. Total fuel consumption by fuel. Just see this. This blue color is corresponding to renewables. That means if I look at the total fuel consumption according to the sector, actually, this is the percentage of the renewables. Maybe somewhere around 10%. Whereas this color you just see, it is a growing area, emerging area, bioenergy, and we are still depending on the oil-derived energy generation percentage. To some percentage, coal is being still used as the fuel also in majority of the application. Other than that, look at in manufacturing activity, we are using the coal, and now it has come down. Now this percentage is now going up. That every sector you have the categorization of the product actually. So just look at this. These are the trends in the growth of economy. The GDP is growing, electricity generation is growing, electricity energy related CO2 emissions are going, total prime supply needs are growing, total fuel consumption needs are growing, population is growing, everything is growing. When population grows, everything grows. So that consumption also grows, but at the same time, we should develop a system so that energy conservation happens. So this is the for the different energy resources. Just look at this. Today, as I told you in the beginning of presentation, around 90% of oil is from outside country. And today, just watch this, and coal is almost around 24 to 26%. It is available domestically, and natural gas is a new area. Now it is in increasing mode actually. So the more we convert solid and liquid petroleum products to the gaseous petroleum products, the system becomes more energy efficient so that the advantage. Just look at this. This is the energy production by source. That means oil production, natural gas, coal, nuclear, the production also in the last 15 years, the production is going for every category for the simple reason population is growing. And this is the total supply by source. That means I have to ensure the increasing needs of the population. According to that, I have to produce more, hence everything is in increasing mode. Just take this total fuel consumption by source and sector. Just take as an industry. In industry today, I am using 23% petroleum products. In industry, where and all I use the petroleum products? In general, factories, maximum I'm using the diesel and other fuel products for the purpose of energy generation. So in industry, the use is maximum 23%. Natural gas, I am using it for the generation of electricity. Coal, I am using 36% for the generation of electricity. The it up, that's why it is 13%. And electricity, the final electricity usage is also very high because I have to run the. At the same time, this is the segmentation in transport, residential services, and so on. So these are the comparison of the all the energy resources in the last 50 years. If you see in 73 and if you see in 2018, depending on the coal around 24.5%, and here on coal is 26.9%. That means my dependency continues to be the same 50 years. At the same time, oil earlier I am depending on 46% and it has come down to 31% because this percentage of oil to natural gas. That is the reason here it is 16%, it has gone to 22.8%, almost 6%. At the same time, the share of renewable have gone up tremendously. Earlier it is a small percentage and today it is a very good percentage of the renewables. So this is the story behind renewables and non-renewables. And 2020 is the turning point because of the COVID and pandemic situation. Of course, a reset point for climate also. And these are the distribution of petroleum products in every segment. If you classify the society, if you classify our life as industrial, agricultural, and other, this is the percentage of petroleum products is used actually in industry. As I have already shown you in the previous presentation, this is the way it is. In our country, the most widely used energy resources are oil, natural gas, and coal, and whereas the least resource is the oil. For the simple reason, oil is not available. 90% is imported from outside the country. This is the threat, my dear friend. If I continuously say save energy, you may not listen to me. But if I say this is the threat, possibly you might listen. The oil reserves in the country will be there only for 20 years. After 20 years, I have no idea. I cannot guarantee also whether oil will be available or not. But as far as gas and coal are concerned, no problem. But most of our processes are dependent on the oil. Hence, we need to save the petroleum products and oil related products actually. So we need to have this kind of education, understand the process and couple it with experience so that we can better run our show without any problem. So these are the government initiatives, Energy Conservation Act implemented in 2001 and so many other acts actually, the promotion of public transport, mass transport. Metro is a classic example of energy efficiency because they don't use the petroleum products, they only use the electricity and so many other examples also. So these are the designated customers, and this maybe the other speaker will talk about. I'm skipping it. Today, if you decide to save the energy, any sector you take, transport, domestic, industry, commercial, agricultural, there is an approximate potential of somewhere close to 10 to 30%. Even today also, if you decide, that much of potential is available. And the Petroleum Conservation Research Association, as a part of the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, is supporting the industry in terms of organizing these studies, seminars, workshops, training programs, exhibitions, audits, consultancy, certification, so many things actually. This is the energy savings for the large scale customers. 2012 and 15, the government of India has introduced a cycle called PAT actually. PAT is nothing but perform, achieve, trade. That means the government of India has given certain measures to all the large scale industries where and all the high consumption of electricity is there, so that in case if they follow all those practices, their current bills, electricity bills will come down, the emissions will come down, the energy will be saved both in terms of thermal and electrical. Just watch this. In the span of this, the government has invested 24,000 crores and government of India has achieved through industries a savings of 9,500 crores skill development, besides the generation of so many jobs, and other than that, emission reductions in terms of carbon dioxide reduction, electrical units are saved. Tax cycle 2, 30,000 crore is the investment, 60% is the saving, somewhere close to 20,000 crores, other than emission reduction and energy savings. In 2012, in the beginning of the program, there are hardly 400. Today the number has gone up, almost double, came to the 800 customers. So friends, you have no option, save energy. Saving 1 unit of energy, that is as good as equal to 5 units of the energy generated. The 2008 year, the government of India has saved somewhere close to 53,000 crores, other than thermal, electrical savings, and a lot of the carbon dioxide emissions also got reduced. These are the alternates, because yours is the Innovation and Incubation Council, and start thinking on these aspects. I'm sure you all must be working on ACs, air conditioners, and we are also trying to reduce the dependency on the imported petroleum products by adding biofuels. Government of India today, ethanol being added around 5 to 10% in petrol, and biodiesel around 5 to 10% in diesel. The government of India is saving somewhere close to 1 lakh crores. Other than that, new domains are opening up: electrical vehicles, LED lights, natural gas, geothermal, wind, biomass, and so many new areas. These are the emerging areas for the institutes to work on this. So PCRA also helps in management system by organizations or institutes or industries via ISO 50001 certification that consume the energy in industry, starting from heating, ventilation, air conditioner, air compressed air systems, electrical system, lighting, motor, boilers. If I have to cover the energy conservation, it is not possible for 1 hour. So these are the some examples of the energy conservation. As I told you, the population goes on continuously, and at the same time, the demands will go, but the losses are minimized. The system is efficiently distributing the energy available so that the system becomes efficient. Other than that, environment today's and tomorrow's needs by causing the less disturbance to the ecosystem. The energy technology will be driven by the socio-economic trends. So many changes are happening overnight. The government, academia, industry have to play a role. My first statement is energy is the engine to the economy. Manage the resource and respect the resource. At the same time, try to create that helps you to save the resource and make it as a habit. Take it as a habit. The life will be greener. Otherwise, you continue to misuse, life will be like this. So thank you. The future depends on what you do today, and you have a lot of space to save energy. This is a small program on some of the government of India's initiatives, measures in the area of energy conservation. So I request Mr. Prem Kumar to come on to his experience in energy conservation. Thank you one and all for your active attention and participation. We can have at the end of the program. Prem Kumar sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You can proceed, sir.
Sir, is my screen visible? Is my screen visible?
Yeah, screen is visible, sir. You can go into the screen shaver mode.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity.
You are audible. Little bit. You should come closer to the laptop.
Okay. So good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for the opportunity. So I thank you. I thank Mr. Anil. So Mr. Anil has covered most of the areas. So let us see some case studies actually. So global warming, everyone knows about global warming. Because of this, because of the global warming, the temperatures or the rise on anything beyond 2 degrees, you can see this thing. In short, I can tell you, the Chennai will be nowhere and Bangalore will become a coastal city. Having seen this, we'll see some of the. I'll rush through because he has covered most of the areas. So we will start with equipment. We'll start by compressed air. So air is always free, but compressed air is very costly, very expensive. When I say compressed air, what is the efficiency of compressed air system? The compressor system means compressor, the receivers, the pipelines, and the FRP system all put together as a system. The efficiency is just 10%. So obviously 10% is very, very less. And if possible, you try to avoid compressed air to the extent possible. And there cannot be any industry which does not use compressed air. It's a very popular resource. That's why I'm starting with this. So compressed air, it is denoted by a free air delivery. It is a standard condition, the temperature, pressure, and composition. The factors which affect the compressor performance are altitude, barometric pressure, and temperature. You can see the compressed air consumption in winter is less, in summer it is higher. Similarly, what works at Chennai, it cannot work at the same efficiency when you go to Kunur or Uti because of the difference in altitude and of course pressure also. So this is the thumb rule. For every 4 degrees rise in inlet temperature, 1 degree higher consumption will be more. So again, elevation we discussed. So the other problem is, don't standardize on pressure. You use the pressure only what is required. Reduction of even 1 bar will reduce your pressure by 6 to 10% energy can be consumed. What happens when you require more and more different pressures? For example, some machines may require 5 bars, some may be at 6 bars, some may be at 2 bars, and all. Have separate lines, segregate lines. Where the pressure is less than 1.5, use blowers instead of compressor. Eliminate compressor air. That is important. So check the pressure drop randomly. Even in your labs, you might have seen the compressor. So you check the compressed air pressure. When the pressure drops below a 0.3 bar, maybe there are some losses. The transmission losses may be there. Sometimes we have the habit of adding more and more compressor at the source side without bothering the line. So rework the line, or there could be leakages, or the demands could have increased. We check it up. That is the idea of a pressure drop measurement frequently. So this is capacity control. Only the on-off control is a traditional control, which is very inefficient. Load unload is the next one. That is also not very efficient. Multi-speed control is not very popular. Throttling control is one of the worst methods where it affects the energy. It eats away your energy bills. Energy wastage is more. Speed control is now the need of the hour. When the load is fluctuating, go for variable frequency drives. So that automatically the speed keeps reducing and your energy wastage is minimized. So let us see one problem. The compressor leakage problem is a very common in industry. So you need to quantify the leakages. So all you need is a stopwatch. Nowadays even mobile phones are okay. You stop the compressor uses lines supply. Start the compressor. Automatic to just go to the full load. Then cut in, cut off, it takes off. Then this is a formula, simple formula. Then you can calculate how much percentage you are wasting in due to leakages. Okay, we will see one point. What is the cost of air leakage? Say, let us take one company did the exercise. 6.41 bore line. The company was drawing power at the compressor at 7 bar and was working for 5,000 hours. 32 shifts it was working. What happens if you don't attend the leaks at all? If you don't arrest the leaks at all? The loss will be to the tune of nearly 8 lakhs, which is very, 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 very high. So beware of this. Beware of these losses. This is very important. Second one, pumps and fans. We'll go to the next equipment. Pumps are very common, even industry, agriculture, everywhere. And all centrifugal fans and pumps exhibit the identical characteristics. They follow one law called affinity law. When you reduce the pressure by 10%, your flow is reduced by 10%. Pressure by 19%, power by 27%. So again, the conventional method start-stop control is there. Bypass valve, there won't be any savings. Again, throttling is a very bad, it's not a good practice, very bad practice. If you oversize the pump, you can trim the impeller to the excess to the tune of around 10%. Or you change the pump itself. Or the other one is the variable speed drives, where there is a fluctuation in load. So always conduct the water balance, avoid cooling level, avoid running of the plant, any plant, for that matter, any plant, avoid idle running actually. Where the length is more, can go in for a booster pump actually. So other one is, other thing is, you always focus on the head actually. If there are multi-stage pumps, remove the unnecessary stages. Whenever you are selecting a new pump, give efficiency of pump, due consideration. And most important, select the motor to match the load, don't oversize it. And saturate the efficiency is maximum. Energy efficient motor and energy efficient pump. What is energy efficient motor? We will see a little later. Okay, all these things we discussed. Then we'll go to lighting. Lighting, the operating cost is 85%. Initial cost is only 15%. Focus on always on the operating cost. So we will see what is color rendering index. So I'm rushing through due to paucity of time. See, when the CRA, the color rendering index, is close to 100%, the CRA at the sunlight is 100%. You will see a more clear picture. As it keeps reducing, you will see distorted picture, sometimes different colors. So next one, lighting control is important. Always distribute the thing. Don't avoid the practice of keeping single switch for all the lights. That's not a good practice. So LED lifetime is around 1 lakh hours. So LED is a very good option. It's also a somewhat greener option. So 1 case study, 150 watts light replaced with 30 watts LED light. You get the payback in 17 months. The advantages are longer lifetime, you do not keep stocks, and of course avoiding of mercury. Disadvantages, heat management is very important. Don't go in for cheaper mix. Relatively is expensive, initial cost is more, but if you work out the life cycle costing, it will be viable actually. So use light pipes to maximize your solar rating. These are top size a bit. So it looks like this inside that. So maximize your daylighting during day shift. Avoid artificial lighting to the extent possible. So here, one company they did about 15 numbers of mercury vapor lamp was changed, and they were able to recover in 24 months the cost. Okay, we have seen all these things. These are some of the case studies. This is an old factory. We have got around 400 watts mercury vapor lamp was put in the, it's a 7-meter roof. So obviously, then later on, what they did was they put the daylight utilization. This 400 watts was brought to 25 watts, reduce the thermal stress of the operator. Next, we go to electric motors. This is a last topic I will run through because or the paucity of time. So what are the causes of energy wastages? Less efficiency, oversizing is very bad, improper supply voltage, it is the unbalance should be avoided, idle running to be avoided, energy efficient motors, we will say one thing. When it is energy efficient motor or a standard motor, the loading is very important. You always replace the motor more than 60-65%. Otherwise, it's a waste of energy. If you are loading at 25%, you are losing efficiently. Okay. So these are the comparison of classes. IE2, IE3, IE4, IE1 is already phased out. So you can see the increase in the efficiency. So okay, renewable energy, I'm not touching up. I'm leaving because of the paucity of time. So electrical vehicle is another the option. By 2030, you can see about 30% vehicle by electric motors. So this is a comparison between IC engine and EV. Efficiency is IC is very low, EV is very high. Fuel is of course expensive. There's only one problem. We have a battery which needs to be changed every 5 years. Battery will have the same. Own parts are less. Life is also high. And the pollution level is the advantage high. Particulate matter is less. But only thing is for charging the electrical vehicles, you should use renewable energy. There's no point again going to fossil fuel. It will cause more disasters, more trouble rather than more benefits. So this is the assume for 5-year period. A small exercise is done. So this is the cost comparison. You can see the electrical vehicles, the life cycle costing is around 10.25. Petrol vehicle is 11.4. Diesel vehicle is 11.83. With the battery prices coming down, battery cost coming down, this should come down further. So these are popular brands are there. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Due to paucity of time, I'm very sorry. I'm closing this. So now I'm open for condition for the question and answers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir, to Anil sir and as well as Prem Kumar sir. It was a wonderful walkthrough regarding the energy management. So it was an eye opener to so many of the things which is new to us. You have given our insight. So thank you both of you, sir. So now I request the participants, if any of the participants need to discuss any questions, you can please raise your hands. We'll unmute you. You can ask them directly. So far, so good, sir. So there we don't find any questions, sir. Sir, any concluding note you want to give it to the participants? Anil, sir, you want to give any concluding?
Nothing specific. Save energy.
Okay, sir. Sir, there's one question. What is the government of India doing with hydrogen fuel?
Not only for you, for this country.
Sir, there's one question from the Q&A session. What is the government of India doing with hydrogen fuel?
Yeah, what they have done is very recently, almost a month, I'm sure you all must be knowing the cluster buses in transport section of the Delhi government actually. Okay, so in that actually CNG actually. So what they have done, even if you are using CNG is nothing but compressed natural gas. It is a auto gas fuel actually. Using the gas fuel, if you look at the emission, definitely compared to the usage of petrol or using gases, the emissions will come down, but not fully. So what they have done, around 15% hydrogen they have added in. and they have used that mixture as a fuel, and the trials are going on for the Delhi transportation buses. So what happened? Of hydrogen, drastically the particulate matter and carbon dioxide emissions are coming down.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, just to add on, sir, there's another question from Devi Lal. Indian waterways also is a green revolution of transport. What is your view about it, sir?
What
Sir,
is
in the
that?
chat box, you can find the question, sir, in the chat box.
Yeah, Indian waterway also is green revolution of transport. How can I understand this question?
Devilal, you want to
No,
ask
what exactly?
the question directly? We can unmute the question. I mean, we can unmute you. You can ask the question directly to him.
Yeah,
May I do that? If you want, you can raise your hand. I'll unmute.
yeah, please, please.
Mr. Devilal, you can unmute yourself.
I think you have.
Yeah, we have given him the provision.
Yeah, Devilal is a faculty or student?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay. No, is he from CIC or?
He's an advocate, sir.
Indian waterway. Indian waterway, I'm really not able to get him. No, but see, if it is only the green.
Okay, so
transport.
sir, can we go to the next question? So Maithili has asked, can you suggest various ways for home energy management?
Yeah, home energy management. Yeah, actually, see, home energy, you have two opportunities. I have told you, one is the converting the existing bulbs to the LED. That is number one. The other one is whenever you any equipment for your home application, like example I have given, air conditioner, water heater, and refrigerator. All these are all main equipments. Every house will have. Look for the standards and labelings. That means what is the star rating of 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. As the star rating is going, the energy efficiency capability of that equipment is also. That means if you purchase the higher star rating equipment, your electricity bills are going to be less. So other than that, you can go for a solar, rooftop solar for water heating. Of course, there is some capital investment is there, and go deep into things. There is a energy conservation building code is there, and that's a different subject altogether. So it's a big. You need to go for elaborate execution actually.
So
Yeah.
some more questions are there in Q&A, sir.
Yeah. Can we use solar energy in transport? See, solar energy cannot the main. It can be a standby only. It's an auxiliary energy. In current scenario in our country, so I don't think you can utilize as a main energy, whatever the limitations are there. And the hydrogen is produced from methane reforming. Okay. What are the R&D support you from water? See, the dissociation of water into hydrogen and oxygen, yes, it's a process, chemical process. So it's a decision by any institute or by any R&D for that matter. The hydrogen, if they are going to achieve it by low cost method, definitely is one of the best fuel for the transport application. Yeah. Yeah, some of the home energy management tips given by my colleague, Mr. Prem Kumar, in the chat. Like, besides, he was telling 5-star equipments, ceiling fans, there are super fans available. Avoid using geysers during summer. Whenever you are using air conditioner, 24 is sufficient, like that.
So Mr. Pawar has asked, green building is useful for, is it useful for reducing
Yeah.
energy demand?
I'd like to take, Anil, you will take to take or shall I take?
Please, please.
At a green building, if you take, it is definitely, it takes care of, it maximizes the use of daylights. So your lighting demand during day is less. Okay, number one. Second one, it is uses natural ventilation. Again, ventilation comes down actually. So air conditioning load is definitely low, very low actually. Then again, third thing, your again waste management. Waste management, it takes care of it. It minimizes the waste as well as the energy used for waste is also less. So green building focuses on energy consumption as well as the well-being also taken care. Okay, definitely it's a very good option for green building. There's one more code, there is ECBC, Energy Conservation Building Code, which is been revised in 2017. That focuses more on energy saving. So ECBC and green building are more complementary. So certainly using green building is a good option. But green building itself is a big subject. Maybe it will take another day, another session. Any other questions, sir? Any question, madam?
No, sir. Devilal has given a suggestion rather than question. What he wanted to say was like, he wanted to suggest like using solar
Yeah.
panels on Indian
Using,
waterways.
yeah.
So that is what he wanted to emphasize over here. So that's the last question I feel, sir.
Water boats actually.
Yes, sir.
See, solar definitely. Yeah, Prem sir.
Yes, madam. Yes, sir. Yes, madam. Use of solar?
Box.
No, use of solar? Is he asking about solar?
Usage of the solar for water boats.
Is definitely the option. It is being
Usage of the solar panel for water boats.
Exactly. Water wells and all water pumping is taken care. In states like Maharashtra, where the power is not there, solar are definitely an option actually. But all these things you need investment actually. Solar you can get only for 6 to 7 hours in a day. You need to plan well, but can be harnessed very well actually. It's a very good option for that. For water management, yes, definitely solar is very good. Rajasthan, states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra can utilize solars for the for the pumping, water pumping actually. So somehow in Tamil Nadu it is not picked up there. Though there is a good requirement, somehow it is not picked up. In due course, I think it should become actually. It's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Sir, there's another question. Ms. Maithili wanted to know about wireless charging of battery.
I have no idea, sir. I have no idea, madam. Because power carrying is signals carrying is okay.
I think it's an emerging area actually. It's an emerging area actually. See, what is the advantage of wireless charging? Basically, it eliminates the cable actually. So what you have to do, basically, you have to charge it by placing the appliance close to the wireless power transmitter or a designated charging station actually. But anyway, it is a new domain in our country actually. But I don't think we have a technology for that.
Sir, there's a question in the Q&A. So he's asking about it's about the law. So what Mr. Patra wants to say is like in sustainable development, all countries agree to use non-conventional energy, but developed countries doesn't maintain this law. But IPCC cannot step off this country. So it's a bit too topic intrinsic. So sir, you're able to understand?
Yes, madam. I will take this question anyway.
Okay, sir.
See, the IPC, this is relating to Paris Agreement. In 2015, all the countries, they entered the Paris Agreement. Very briefly, I touched in the beginning in my this thing. That is climate change. That is the global warming. If the temperature goes beyond 2 degrees, they're at the pre-industrial level. Pre-industrial level means 1900 and all. So already we have reached around more than a degree. So now the countries, they say 1.5 degrees itself is disastrous. If it goes beyond that, then the countries Chennai will be immersed under sea. Bangalore will become a coastal city. Okay, to do that, what happens is all the countries have signed it. And India very ambitiously has put a target for renewable energy. For the year 2022, they have fixed a target of around 175 gigawatts, out of which 100 gigawatts is from solar, 60 from wind, 10 from biomass, and 5 from small hydro. So this is the thing. But 2022 is not very far. As on June, we have already achieved around 56% has been already achieved. And there are the chances that we could achieve even before that. And we are not going to stop with that. By 2030, our target will be 350 gigawatts. The idea is that when the electrical vehicles are put in the roads, 30% they are going to occupy the roads, the charging should definitely come from renewable energy. Having said that, renewable energy has also got its own sets of problems. Number one, it's an informed power. We do not know when it will come, when it will go on. So what happens is whenever it comes, it is going to create problems for the grid. See, for example, another one is 1 megawatt of fossil fuel, for example, coal or any thermal gas, is not equal to 1 megawatt of solar. See, an example I'll tell you, 1 megawatt of fossil fuel is around 72 lakh units you will get every year. Whereas a solar can give you only 15 lakh units in a year. That cannot be equal actually. So that is why India has given up a target. 40% of the consumption by 2030 will be from renewable. Others have to come from fossil only. So they cannot put a law. Each country has got its own waste grid problem and all. But definitely IPCC is recommending that actually. Beyond 40, you will have grid problems and stability problems will be there. Power will not be reliable. So this is the reason for it. But renewable energy has got a good sector, in a wonderful sector. You have lot more opportunities. It's a growing sector. Two sectors or we can say sunrise sector. One is the building sector, the other is the renewable energy sector. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and another thing, the IPCC is a United Nations body. Basically, what do? Is they assess the science like climate change, like another World Health Organization kind of thing. When the pandemic comes, they say you wear the mask first of all. Will be coming down actually. But today, when I go to the market, actually, how many of the people are wearing? More than 60% the mask. Then how the transmission will be cut down? And they give number of recommendations. This IPCC, when you increase your energy share or energy mix, go to the unconventional, become a solar, tidal, or hydro, or bio, or whatever it is. See, it is up to the decision and will of the country who wants to have a switch over to the to renewables from non-renewables, and the pumping of the capital investment for that in the long run for the better infrastructure. So sometimes they can, and it is up to the judiciary kind of now. They say it is purely discretionary and given to the wisdom of the individual countries.
Okay, sir. So, in related to the renewable fuels itself, sir, just so in what stage are we in the application of biofuels, sir? Because nowadays we hear the blending of petrol with bioethanol and biodiesels. Now it's a very common terminologies nowadays we hear.
Yeah.
Compared to our country, where are we, sir, in that?
Yeah. No, today the government of India is adding around 5 to 10% of ethanol in petrol. Almost in a similar ratio, biodiesel they are adding into the diesel actually. See, the R&D, the research and development has been done only up to the maximum percentage of the addition of 10%. So yes, there are certain operational issues or some technical problems might come in case if they increase it. But the ethanol addition and yes, it is in a full swing actually. But look at the biodiesel, because the cultivation of biodiesel, no, it has its own. I cannot say disadvantage, but there are certain limitations because of the loss of the productivity. Once you are converting the agricultural land to the diesel land actually, so there are certain issues in my opinion. In future, maybe another years to go, the more number of incentives, more number of, so that the promotion of these biofuels will go up. And other than that, standalone ethanol means also trying to consider ethanol as a standalone fuel. And other than that, so many other biofuels, they are working on it. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So there's a couple of questions in the chat box. So Maithili has asked whether there are any home alert system for notifying energy consumption in a particular duration of a day. So she has asked that.
I have typed the answer, madam. Very smart meters can do the job.
Okay.
But currently it is very expensive. It is very expensive.
Okay, sir. Yeah, you have replied to that. Okay, sir. Yes. Okay, sir. So we have come to the conclusion part, sir. So we have covered almost all the questions. So Prem Kumar sir and Anil sir, is there any last note you want to give to the audience before we wind up?
I can tell you one thing. The energy conservation is only a beginning. I got a long way to go. In case of any questions or anything, you can email us, and definitely we will suggest what are possible measures or anything. You can PCRA can support you by giving advices and all. So thank you for the opportunity, and we would like to see you through at least through mails or anything. In future also, if there is any requirement, please call us. We can always give. It will be wonderful for us to share more such ideas, more to discuss with you. We enjoyed the webinar. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Anil sir, Prem Kumar sir, for coming down and spending a weekend with us. So it was very
in fact,
yes, sir. It was very informative in the domestic aspect as well as the industrial aspect also, sir. So thank you so much. So yes, Anil sir, you were trying to say something before we conclude. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sir is but you explain more use coal from then I'll please explain. See, I am not told coal is used more and fuel is used less. I'll answer this way, this question. See, today we are not completely able to come out of the clutches of the coal. Actually, coal is today is there almost about around 25%, because most of our processes are still using, even though as you told rightly, dirty, it is ash formation and all those things, but coal reserves are very high in our country. So now we are from the usage of the solid petroleum products like coal to the diesel and other furnace oils, liquid petroleum products. So we are in the second transition. So from liquid products to we have to go to the gases. So this is the way the energy transition is happening. But yes, now government aggressive step to quickly switch over to the gas-based economy. So coal will have tough days in the years to go. So to Mr. Shubhankar Patra. Other than that, as a the statement I would like to give at the end of the presentation is share and save the energy. That's all from my side.
Okay, sir. So thank you, sir. So with the permission of Anil sir and Prem Kumar sir, can we wind up the webinar today, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, madam. Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you, everyone. Thank you, sirs, and definitely a big thanks to the participants being with us throughout the time. And definitely, if you want to reach out to them, you can write to us. You will get all the informations and contact details. We'll definitely share it to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you one and all. All the best for the weekend. And I just need the attendance along with letter of appreciation.
Yes, sir. We'll share it to you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.